For James Barry, photography is not just a passionate pastime, it is also a career. James Barry is a photographer for Studio 2000, where he gets to take some very interesting pictures.
What I like about photography, I think, is that when you sort of understand how the camera works and you understand the craft of it, you can create not just see something cool and capture it, but you can sort of manipulate the lights and things to create something that you couldn't see with the naked eye. The example would be the other day I shot some shots out on a city street at night with a big long exposure, so you've got all the cars streaking by me, which is something that you can't see with your naked eye, but if you know what you're doing with the camera and with the lights, you can create that effect. I think that's what really excites me about photography, being able to create something that you've never seen before. That and photographing hot models, I suppose. I do all sorts of photography. I do a lot of photographing people, like portraits and things like that. I do like portfolios for models, you know, like swimsuit stuff or fashion stuff, that kind of thing. I also do a bit of stuff for like real estate and architecture. And for my own personal interest, I do a bit of landscapes and things like that. I've been a photographer for about 5 or 6 years, I reckon.
James's life in photography is obviously really exciting, and it is something he likes to gloat about whenever he goes out and talks to women.
I generally shoot on film, so what's involved is a lot of light metering, getting the little light ratios right. It's a lot of being able to pre-visualize what you do before you do it. The challenges involved in what I do, I suppose, is that not everyone I shoot, for one, is 19 years old, 6 foot tall and gorgeous, and so you have to be able to be you have to be able to sort of tweak what you do and change some of the poses and ideas to be the most flattering on the person that you're shooting. I really enjoy some of the model stuff, because I think when you've got someone who does that professionally, then they're more flexible. You can sort of push them to do more crazy poses, and you can sort of you've got the freedom to create something quite interesting. It's not just about sort of making someone look hot, it's sort of about creating a really sort of visually striking image, making really nice lines and shapes with a human figure, I suppose. And I guess what excites me is being able to do something where someone sees the shot and think, wow, that looks really cool, it really stands out in some way, it's something a bit different.
But there's more to James's job than just photographing hot models.
I do sort of consider my career in photography to be a bit of a stepping stone into filmmaking, mainly just because I get to, I suppose every day at work all I'm thinking about is lights and composition and framing and things like that. So I suppose the visual aspect, at least, of filmmaking is something that I'm constantly thinking about. I'm constantly using those skills every day. So when I do get to do a film, when I do say I do a lot of like promo films and things like that, and I do some short films for myself, when I do get onto the set to do that, I find that this stuff is now second nature to me. I don't have to think about it. I know how to set up lights, I know what sort of framing I like doing. And I suppose in that sense it is a stepping stone. Photography has taught me a lot about filmmaking. I think a lot of film directors can sometimes they know their story, they know what they want from their actors, but because, I mean, really the lighting stuff is usually the cinematographer's job, but it's so invaluable to have an understanding of that, to know what sort of lens you want for what sort of shot, to know how you can use the lighting to create certain effects. And having done that, and having an understanding of that yourself, I think makes you a much better filmmaker.
For James Barry, photography is more than just a hobby or his job. It's a passion that will hopefully lead him to a career in filmmaking